One reason porn has spread across the world is that its core message is so attractive. Going something like this: no matter what you're feeling or facing, come join the fun. I mean, why waste time with the dreariness of normal life when you can join in so much fun and happiness and good times with just a simple click of a mouse? If that were true, it would be pretty hard to resist channeling fun and happiness with a simple click. Pretty no-brainer, right? Maybe that's why the industry works so hard to convince people that this is true, preaching the message that porn is all really about happiness and fun. So is it? Well, from the outside, pornography certainly looks like a fantasy world of pleasure and thrills, with participants seeming to experience constant bliss and rapture at the highest levels. But check out how one porn star described her experience of working in the industry of pleasure. I got the crap kicked out of me. Most of the girls started crying because they're hurting so bad. I couldn't breathe. I was being hit and choked. I was really upset, and they didn't stop. They kept filming. I asked them to turn the camera off, and they kept going. Wow, really? I mean, that sounds extreme. Maybe this is an exception, just one bad porn studio. Or maybe it's not. One participant of pornography films told us that she had personally witnessed victims and survivors who had been drugged and forced into this ugliness against their will. Adding, I realize that the statement flies in the face of the mainstream mentality that porn is voluntary and that she likes it, that she asked for it, that she chose it. Although that may be true for some, many are coerced into agreeing with whatever their agent or pimp says, just to stay alive. We've been humiliated beyond description and carry that with us 24/7. Our minds are numbed and in many cases drugged into stupor for the painful use of our bodies to be filmed. She added, we lie to cover up the truth, much the same way the victim of domestic abuse lies, conceals, and hides. We do not have the words to speak out because our pain is too graphic, and it is next to impossible to describe what has happened to us because of the mainstream mentality. We are met with dismissals and denials, with excuses such as, that could not have happened because the girls and women look like they're enjoying what is happening to them. Some of us have succumbed to more drug addictions, some to insanity, some to crippling isolation, and some even to death. Now let's be very clear here. This person is not an unusual, isolated case. This kind of experience shows up over and over and over in the industry, and not just in fringe porn. In fact, an analysis at the University of Arkansas of 50 best-selling adult videos showed that 88% of scenes showed aggression toward women, and in many cases, physical aggression and violence. One woman told us the abuse that goes on in the industry is completely ridiculous. The way people are treated is totally sick. I left due to the trauma I experienced after being beaten half to death. So if porn hurts people this bad, why would people ever get involved in the first place? For some of the actors and actresses, they are told that this is the ticket to high-class living and even celebrity status. Once they start filming and getting involved, that's when the forcing starts. Many former porn stars talk about being booked to do a scene only to have conditions changed on the spot, which often led to horrific experiences with brutal, unprotected sex. You see, in order to prevent the police and the public from finding out about these situations, we've been told that it's common for agents or pimps or employers to use intimidation or blackmail as weapons to silence the participants. They also crop out the especially severe physical and emotional pain actors experience. Doctors are also employed by the industry to, quote-unquote, watch over the actors and actresses and prescribe whatever they need to numb out and suppress the pain. Former participants told us it's an empty lifestyle trying to fill up a void. 75% of porn stars are using drugs. They have to numb themselves to get on set. The more you work, the more you have to numb yourself. You might be thinking, okay, so if it's really this bad, why would anyone stay involved? This is where it starts to get shocking, to the point of almost being unbelievable. But we need to talk about this. By now, you've almost certainly heard of human trafficking. the trading of actual human beings who are coerced or forced into a literal modern-day slavery for different reasons, including and especially for sexual purposes. It's hard for most people to understand how something like this can exist in the modern world. Didn't we get rid of slavery in most parts of the world a long time ago? Sadly, rather than fading into history, sex trafficking only seems to be growing. The overall human trafficking problem is estimated by the United Nations to be a $32 billion a year industry that ensnares millions of people around the world, including young boys and girls. The majority of trafficking victims, 79%, are exploited sexually in different ways, including being forced into doing porn. When these individuals experience pain in the filming, their lives are often threatened if they show pain on camera. So they are, again, forced to make it look like they're enjoying what they're doing. If this is where the pain stopped, it would be bad enough. But think for a moment about how many people who end up watching a video like this decide to try it out with vulnerable people in their own lives. I mean, let's stop pretending it's a mystery where some of this abuse comes from. Look, we know this is all pretty heavy, but you need to know this if you didn't already. For some, this will strengthen their resolve. The, oh wow, I had no idea moment can actually prompt more motivation and strength to fight. For others, however, this may discourage them or make them feel personally awful. Let me talk to those people right now. All of this is not intended to shame or burden you. In fact, it's exactly the opposite that is motivating us. A desire to add fuel to the fire of your desire for freedom. In addition to all the personal reasons you have to rebel against this industry, keep in mind the reality of those being victimized every day. Bottom line, porn hurts people. Millions of people who think that they are viewing harmless pornography are often literally watching someone being forced against their will to participate in sexual acts. Now, of course, not everyone in the industry experiences these awful things and conditions. And obviously, yes, for some, it is a conscious decision to get into the porn industry. But what about those for whom it's not a conscious decision? What are we going to do about them? How about this? Let's stop fueling this horrific problem. Rather than spending another day or hour or minute supporting this industry, let's take a stand and do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to say goodbye forever to a system that is literally destroying and enslaving human lives all around the world. Let's do this. It's too important to ignore.